What's going on, everybody? Adam here with eTrailer. Today on our 2021 GMC Sierra 2500, we're going to be taking a look at the Demco Hijacker Auto-sliding fifth wheel hitch for your OEM puck system. This system's going to be for you if you have the OEM puck system and you have a short bed. Basically, what happens is with these short beds, as you start turning, a lot of the ones you're going to have to manually release so you can slide it back. So you're not going to have any damage happening to the cab of your truck. With this one, as it starts to rotate, it's going to slide back automatically to prevent any contact from happening. We're going to get about 14 inches of slide with our fifth wheel head, and it is going to rotate up to 90 degrees with our trailer. To get a closer look at the jaws, what we want to do is just take this little pin out here. We're going to pull this lever, and it is going to lock into place out like that. And then I'm just going to take this out real quick. Then we get a closer look at the jaws. So this is going to be a one piece, and it is going to cover 360 degrees around your Kingpin. So that's going to prevent any type of rattling. So as you start backing up to your fifth wheel, it'll slide in like that, and then click into place, and then you can replace your pin. Another thing I like about this head is it is going to rotate front to back, but also side to side. A lot of the times it's not ideal conditions. We're not always going to be perfectly level, and it's just going to be a little off. So this is going to give you a little bit less of a headache whenever you're trying to hook up, and also whenever you're driving, it's going to prevent that chucking that you'll feel whenever you're going down the road. A lot of fifth wheel hitches are a little noisy back behind you whenever you're going down the road. With this one, a lot of the movement that you'll be feeling is kind of that side to side action, and we do have some polyurethane dampeners, so they're going to last a long time and just keep that noise to a minimum. There's only one adjustment that we need to take into consideration. Right now we're using the middle holes here. There are some measurements you need to take to figure out which one's going to be best for your rig, meaning your truck and your trailer. One thing I noticed is using the middle or the bottom, you are definitely able to get a on top of the rail tonneau cover to cover up your fifth wheel and hide it from the elements. If you do have to use these taller ones here, it's going to sit a little bit higher up than the sides of your bed. To sum it all up, if you have a short bed pickup, I would definitely recommend grabbing a sliding fifth wheel hitch. We have a lot of them here. I really enjoyed the Hijacker. It was a pretty easy install. Whether you have an OEM puck system or not, we have a lot of different rails that you can grab here at eTrailer so you can get this Hijacker system onto your truck. If you do have an OEM puck system, you can go ahead and stick around. We're about to go ahead and install the adapter rails for that puck system along with the rest of the fifth wheel. First thing we want to do is remove our little covers for our puck system. These pop right out. Put these somewhere where you won't lose them. These are designed to drop right into your OEM puck system, but we were having a little bit of issues with it lining up. If you do have that issue, what we did is you can just loosen some of these bolts to loosen up this bracket. It gives you a little bit more wiggle room, and then it dropped into place. And now that everything is loose, it's a good idea to kind of get everything to see if it's going to turn, and if it is, then we don't have to remove anything. If you aren't able to turn, there is a couple different washers that will be accessible with this bracket taken off that you might have to remove to get it to lock into place. Once everything's in place, you can tighten everything down. I'm using a 14mm socket. Now that we have our base in place and locked down, grab a couple set of hands to help you get this heavy slider up and onto your bed. And to get it in the right orientation, we're going to have two bolts, and that's going to be facing towards the back, and then the one facing towards the front is just going to have one single bolt in the middle. To make it easier to put the side brackets on, it's really nice to have a 6x6 on the front and back to kind of lift it up to where these holes are going to line up. And now we get to determine which holes we're going to use. We're going to use the middle ones, but what you need to do is get your trailer level and then measure from the ground to your Kingpin and then measure from the ground to the top of your tailgate. Take those two numbers and the difference, look in your instructions to figure out which one it matches up with. Ours matches up with the middle, so we're going to use the middle and line it up with these top holes. Now you want to go ahead and take your hardware. We're going to put these through the holes and take this big nylon lock nut and reach in and put it on the back. And then in our instructions, we are gonna have some torque settings, so you can go ahead and torque it down nice and tight. With an extra set of hands, we can lift this up and we can kind of start to line it up to where we need it and drop it into these little slots. And if you haven't already, go ahead and take your pins and we'll line this up. The bracket will come in through there. And we have a little clip to go on the end. And it's the same exact thing for all 4 sides. Now that the hitch is in place, what we want to do is set up our outrigger bar. So what we did is we took some of the hardware before and we ran a bolt through to kind of get rid of some of that powder coat that made it to the threads. So it's going to be a little bit easier to do this. So what we want to do is we're going to stick it through, put this nut on, put it down there, and then now that there's not a whole lot of powder coat in those threads, it's pretty easy to go through. There is a nice pad on the bottom. So what we want to do is pretty much get it all the way through the bracket, but not sticking out too far. Just kind of like that. And then we'll take this, go all the way up, take the other one, go all the way down, and then make some minor adjustments to where it's just kind of supporting this right here, and then we can tighten it down with a 3/4 inch socket. Before we install our head, you want to take our dampener, and there's going to be one little hole in the bottom. All you got to do is just line it up, press it down, and that's it. To get our head in place, what we want to do is pull this pin here and take out the pivot pin. Just like that. Set it to the side. And we can go ahead and set this down, line it up, and then we can put this pin back in place, going all the way through, and then replace our pin. Now we want to install the handle. So what we want to do is just slide it on, and there's multiple holes. So we don't want to have it up like this. It might run into our camper that we're hauling. So I'm just going to have it like this, and then you will get a bolt that goes through there and a nylon lock nut to go on the other end. And you can go ahead and tighten that down. Most likely you're going to have to adjust these here just to fit the pin plate on your pin box, and it's going to accept from 12 inches all the way up to 14 inches of your standard pin boxes. Now's a good time to go ahead and back up to your fifth wheel, get it all hooked up, and see if it is at the right height. If it's not, we can make our adjustments on our brackets here. And that'll do it for a look at the Demco Hijacker Auto-sliding fifth wheel hitch for your OEM puck system on our 2021 GMC Sierra 2500.